Hello, Facebook, social media people. And today is the Wonder Mama Wednesday Coffee Chat. And today I have with me a friend who I believe we met. Actually, I met her before she met me. I was attending a virtual conference, and she was one of the presenters at the Born to Risk event. And since I've had several opportunities to watch her share her story and her heart and her love out to the world, and I'm so excited that she has agreed to come and talk to me here on this coffee chat. Lindsey and I are also um, family in the Moxie tribe. Um, and I'm just so happy to be connected. And so please, please help me welcome my sweet friend, Lindsey Stadel.
Thank you, Leonne. I'm so glad to be here with you today.
Oh man. One of the reasons, Lindsey, that I wanted to have you here is because frog, because um the story that you share and how you serve the world is so important. And I've I've experienced real time the power of your story and the gift that you have to share to the world, but through a really difficult lived experience. And so, first of all, where in the world are you before we go into all of that? Where in the world are you? What do you do? Who do you serve? And why do you do it? All those things.
Okay, well, I am in a small Northeast Kansas community. It's a rural community. We have four family businesses. We run a farm and ranch. We run a silage chopping business. We run an over-the-road trucking company, and we run a commodity brokering business. All four of our kids, mine and my husband's kids, work together with us every day in some aspect. My daughter works in the office with me Monday through Friday. The other three boys are either mechanics, over the road truckers, or our youngest is still in high school. So his job is, of course, his chores. um, I am now outside of my family businesses. I'm a published author, an Amazon bestseller, which that still baffles me to say. I'm attempting a world record today with a presentation I'm giving this afternoon, and I am here to help people who are going through mental health issues, who have suffered from or are currently suffering from depression, anxiety, suicidal ideation, because, like you said, my lived experience took me to a very, very dark place. And now my life right now is 360 degrees different than it was almost 10 years ago. And so I figured this is my opportunity to use my pain as purpose to help others.
Oof. I asked you too many questions all at once, but you brilliantly answered them all. Okay.
Thank you.
Oh, wow. And thank you. Thank you for sharing all of that. First of all, I love that your family all works together and and takes care of each other, and it sounds like kind of the American dream,
It
honestly.
really is, yes.
Yeah. And you still have one more in school. Um I What's silage?
Silage is where you take like these big, gigantic John Deere harvesters out into a cornfield or a bean field. And the machine sucks it all up inside of it, chops it up really fine, and it turns it into livestock feed. Excuse me, livestock feed.
I had no
So
idea.
Yeah, all four of our businesses are intertwined, or they're all in the agriculture field. So I never thought that I was going to be a farm girl, but when I married a farmer, I turned into one and I love it.
Look at that. So let's go into, I think your story also leads into another married business, but you said something in there I don't think we should move past. You're trying to work towards a world record today?
I
What do
am.
you mean?
Yes, I'm participating in the Voices of Women Summit that is hosted by Kimberly Crow. And the world record, we're trying to get over 400, actually almost 450 women speaking virtually at this event today. And if we are successful, then we will all be world record holders for the largest virtual summit. Um, so that's really exciting.
Really exciting. Wow, that's amazing. And Kimberly does a lot of really great work. Kimberly
Yes,
Crow. Okay. So you and I have a lot of amazing mutual connections, but I didn't know about that one. That's amazing. And I hope you guys knock it out of the park, make it just a little bit unachievable. Um,
yes,
though it's kind of a beautiful thing to attempt to do as well.
I agree. Yes, I've given speeches before, presentations before. I've even done podcasts, but the way she does her summit is so special that it's you give your why story and then there's Q&A from the audience members. And I've never participated in something like that. I know that there's people watching, but you don't get to respond to the questions that they throw out there. So this is going to be a really unique experience for me, and I'm very excited about it.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. That's amazing. I'm excited for you and rooting for you.
Thank
And
you.
I know that your speech will do some really important things.
I hope so.
So, so let's talk a little bit about that hard stuff, if
Okay.
you don't mind. I would love to know your story. You don't have to go deep into it because people need to read your book.
Yes.
Yes. But just a little bit in it. There's something I've listened to your talk several times and there's a big takeaway that is so powerful. Can you say a little bit more about what happened to you leading up to that ultimate action, suicide attempt? And then yeah, share that with us if you will.
Okay. I was married for 12 years. I had two beautiful kids, a house, a husband. Everything looking from the outside in looked like I had a successful life. But the year that my father, excuse me, the year that my father passed away, I really started to decline. My father and I were close my whole life. And so the decline started happening, around 2014, but it didn't really get bad until the year that I got divorced in 2016. And so after 12 years of marriage, we went our separate ways. I was now a single mom with two kids. My daughter had two jobs as well as going to school because she was trying to help me pay the bills and take care of her younger brother. At 16, 17 years old, she was basically his second mom. And I fell into relationship right after my marriage ended with a very abusive gentleman, abuse in every aspect that you can imagine. And not only was he abusive, but so was his daughter. And not just to me, but also to my son. And I didn't think I deserved anything better than that.
Mm.
Um, but then at the same time, I was part of the volunteer fire department in my community, and my partner on the fire department, who became my best friend through the department, he was going through a divorce as well, and we were really helping each other, get through our respective divorces. And September of 2017, I was dating two men on and off during that time, one of which was my abuser, and the other was my best friend who became my rescuer. And the night that everything broke for me was on September 24th of 2017. I had just spent the last year lying, cheating, stealing, anything and everything I could do to keep my head above water. My failures felt like I was making me it was making me drown. And I honestly thought that my kids would be better off without me. Um, I figured that they didn't need someone like me as an embarrassment. And so driving down a country road, I was in a vehicle with my best friend, one of the guys I was seeing. We were talking about it. And I just snapped. I everything in my mind just went numb. I and I opened the door of his truck and I jumped out. And the last thing I remember was screaming. And then the next thing I remember is waking up in the hospital 24 hours later, and my first thought was, why didn't it work?
Mm.
My body was broken. My left arm would not move. My head was shaved because they had to do surgery to repair my face. Because if I lean forward a little bit, you can see I've got some scarring, and my left eye doesn't raise. Um, my skin was pulled away from my forehead and hanging down.
Oh, goodness.
So the nerves in my forehead are damaged,
Yeah.
so they had to shave my head to repair my face. And the first person I saw when I woke up was my mom, and I could see the devastation on her face because she had already lost one child, and I almost made her lose another. And then after they got me into my own room, I remember opening my eyes to see my daughter's face. And now I realize that I have to come clean with and face all of the demons that I was trying so hard to get away from. And I almost left my kids without a mother, and with no reason. Well, not no reason, with no explanation, because I didn't leave a note. I didn't wake up that morning preparing to die. It was a split-second decision. So I didn't leave a note. My daughter would have had an idea because she knew for the past year what was going on with me, but she wouldn't have known 100% what happened. And so for the next week, I was on suicide watch in the hospital. And then I went to live with my mom and dad for about a month. And then my family had an intervention and told me that they thought that I needed to get some serious help. So I committed myself to a mental health facility. And that's one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life, because inside of those walls, behind the locked doors, there's nothing glamorous about it. It's not a beautiful thing like you see on movies, because you face your demons and you have to face your truth. And when I walked out, it was only a week long stay, but when I walked out, I wasn't healed. My left arm was still dead. I don't know why. Um, and now I had to learn how to navigate life with one working arm and no job because I had been fired from my job. And who's going to want me now, That's what was going through my head. Who's gonna want me now? But the gentleman that I told you was my rescuer, he came and visited me at the mental health facility. And when I got home after being there for a week, he was there to help me learn how to navigate life. And now he's my husband.
Whoa. Oh, first of all, thank you for sharing. I know, I mean, I can see it's still really hard to share it, but you've been sharing that story. I think little bits of it come out more or clearer because there's a reason you're telling it to us, right? It's before you jumped out of the car, you were in a shame storm. You were in this really dark shame storm place. And then you made a split decision, but it came from the story that you built about yourself.
Yes.
And you built a story around your own worth. And then when you did it and you woke up, right? And you're like, why didn't it work? Holy crow. You were still in that space. And and now when you looked at your mom and you looked at your sister, you saw what you were doing, but it was still shame. It was you were still feeling worthless. So, right? Am I that's what I
Yeah.
heard. Okay.
Yes.
And then
Yes.
and then the mental facility and then continuing to get help and building self up. But so that story is powerful and I think we've all felt at some point in our lives really, really dark. We haven't all felt that dark. Many people have felt that dark. Many people do succumb, and many people don't survive. So, how can we help the people who are noticing a shift in the people that they love? Noticing what can we do? How can your story help us help others?
I like to reference three letters, TBM, and that stands for talk, behavior, mood. And the reason why I like to reference that is because someone who's having these mental health issues, their talk changes. They start talking about, well, what if I wasn't here anymore? Or, what would you do if I wasn't around anymore? And when their talk about themselves becomes dark, their behavior changes as well. They start giving away or selling their possessions. They start becoming a shut-in when if they were usually outgoing or vice versa. They start drug use, alcohol use. There's so many different things that change about someone's behavior. And then when their behavior changes, so does their mood. And when your mood changes and you get to that point where you were thinking about it and now you've made that plan where I was at, you suddenly don't care anymore. You don't care what's going on around you. You don't care what people are saying to you or talking about. You don't care and you don't think about what it's going to do to other people when you attempt this or if you're successful at the attempt. And I had been in the hospital 3 times prior to the attempt on suicide watch. All 3 times my daughter was there with me. She got me or called the ambulance, two of the times and then met me there once. And no 16-year-old should have to see their mother like that. No child should have to see their mother or their parent like that. No one should have to see their loved one like that. And so if you notice the TBM changes in friends, family, coworkers, anyone that you really notice that these changes are happening, all you have to do is reach out. If you don't feel comfortable making that connection to them, asking them how's their mental health today, how are they doing today, then talk to someone that you trust or that you know that they trust. Refer them to the 988 suicide hotline. That is open. They answer it 24/7, 365 days a year. You can text it. And even if you're not the one needing the help, you can still call and text that number yourself, and they can give you resources to help your loved one.
Mm.
Um, and so that's what I would recommend doing, because all it takes is one moment of silence for it to be the end. And
I think,
that's where I was at. And I don't want anybody to have to go through what my kids went through or what my loved ones went through,
or you went through.
or me.
Yeah. Or you went through, and I know, well, too many of us have stories or have that feeling of what could I have done with family members or friends or acquaintances, or I just talked to them and they seemed fine, and so for, for now, I mean, you mentioned that before this you had two other moments, and now you feel steady and stable. What also was the turning point for you? I feel like that's an important part of this story, if you don't mind.
No, absolutely. Honestly, my turning point didn't come until, what was that, 2024 that we had that mastermind event? Was that 24 or 25?
It was 25.
It was 25. Yes, it was. So in 2024, I met a gentleman by the name of Emilio Roman. I met him through my Aunt Tish. She was part of Emilio's first Born to Risk book, and she told him that he needed to meet me and hear my story. So from September of 17 to August of 24, I really was not comfortable talking about my experiences because it still brought shame. I felt like it still brought shame to my family, and I did not want my name out there. I did not want people hearing my name and going, or seeing one of my kids and going, well, their mom tried to kill herself. So I was very embarrassed. But after talking with Emilio, and he convinced me that I needed to share my story and that it needed to be part of his book. So I wrote it down multiple times, many different ways. A lot of information and no information, you go from one extreme to the next. There's a lot of my story I still don't even remember. That 24 hours after jumping out of the truck to when I woke up in the hospital, I don't remember. I do not know what happened during that time. I know I was life flighted by helicopter, but I don't recall any of it. And I don't want to know. There's a reason why my mind blocked it out. And so going through all of my story with Emilio and getting it written down and trying to figure out what needed to be part of this book, he also got me comfortable enough with talking to people. He challenged me to a 30-day Facebook Live challenge. He said, all you have to do is get out there and talk 30 days in a row. Talk about whatever you want to talk about, but make sure you include part of your story. And when he challenged me on September 18th of 2024, he challenged me to that. That really was my turning point, because the very next day I hit go live and I was scared to death. I did not want to do it, but by goodness, he challenged me, so I'm going to do it. And so on September 19th of 2025, yes, I just skipped a whole year. He challenged me on September 18th of 24. I started on September 19th of 24. And on September 19th of 2025, I got up in front of my first audience and I shared my story live. And that was also my day 365 of getting up and telling my story. So because Emilio challenged me to tell my story and share it with the world, he got me comfortable. He got me over that embarrassment and over that shame. And that he's the one that helped me realize that I needed to turn my pain into purpose. And he's gonna forever be part of my redemption story, or else we wouldn't have ever met, Leonne, you
I
know?
met you that day. I
Yes,
met you September 19th, 2025, and
yes,
cried with you the day you told your story. And Emilio, I call him the hype man, but he's so much more than that. He is such an incredible, I mean, just from your story, anybody who's listening, if you have the opportunity, check out Born to Risk. Look up Emilio Roman. If you need somebody in your corner, and his beautiful wife, Daniela, definitely.
yes.
Together, they are a dream team. And I am so glad that they were there for you, that your Aunt Tish, who's also wonderful, um, knew that that was a avenue for you, because telling the story reduces it by half. It reduces the weight by half. And knowing that, yeah, that was a really dark time for you, but knowing that now sharing your story, having a framework, having a way that people on the outside looking in, or even when they notice that something in themselves is changing, might be able to catch it sooner. So maybe, just maybe, more than just you sharing your story is going to help so many more. And I am so grateful that you decided to come on with me today.
Me
But
too.
before we go on anymore, it's time for us to say goodbye to social media. It's
Okay.
time for us to stop our live stream and to go privately into the Wonder Mama community, where members can have more of a private chat and maybe ask some questions or love on you, or whatever that's going to look like. But more than anything, I am so grateful. This will be available on replay, as always, on Facebook for 30 days. It will also be available on the Wonder Mama Place YouTube channel and on podcast, the Wonder Mama Coffee Chat, on Apple, Spotify, and Podbean. And so follow Lindsey, buy her book, root her on. We want
I
to know
have 4
if you
books.
get that. Oh, you're
I
four
have
books.
4 books now.
Never mind. Buy all of Lindsey's books, share them.
I have a bundle. I have a package deal.
Nice. I love it. And so just thank you so much. So we're going to say goodbye to social media.
Okay.
Anything you want to say to them people out there before we go inside?
Yes, my quote, you are enough. No more proving, no more pretending, just unapologetically you.
Thank you so much, Lindsey Stadel, everybody.
Thank you, Leonne.